landmark Supreme Court case, Plessy v. Ferguson, established laws requiring segregation under the doctrine of separate but equal. Most American schools are the same in their dress codes. A dress code for males, a dress code for females, a set of entirely different guidelines for each sex. We believe these to be two equal solutions, but they're not. Even with reforms to skirt lengths and shoulder straps, males and females are still targeted for unfair gender-based stereotypes. Racial discrimination through segregation continued for the next 56 years until its repeal in 1954, in the case of Brown versus Board of Education, which would desegregate public schools under the unanimous Warren Court decision. Just like the racial segregation of the 1800s, a dress code based on the archaic ideas of gender and dress is discriminatory and inherently unequal. As college students, we are allowed to make choices in the way we dress. But in light of recent legislation, we have a responsibility to stand up for the expression of youth in our public schools. Just because we don't face dress code violations doesn't make them right, or doesn't mean that especially large numbers of certain demographics face higher numbers of dress code violations. For any student to be penalized based on a dress code that perpetuates and institutionalizes gender-based stereotypes directly endangers the student body by invalidating their gender and personal expression. For example, a guy that were to come to school wearing earrings and a dress could be guaranteed time in an administrator's office. Shouldn't a fair and appropriate collaboration between administration, who puts our education first, and objective student input, as we are the ones most affected, be created with the intent to minimalize or even rid institutions of sexist, gender-based norms? From 2000 to 2013, the number of public schools with dress codes has increased 21%. And of all dress code violations nationwide, 80% were female. And of those females, 64% were African Americans. This kind of gender coding sets the stage for other forms of simultaneous discrimination that regularly produces class and race-based inequalities. More often than not, dress codes actually do the opposite of what they are meant to by sexualizing the female body. Of all of the instances of bullying nationwide, 75% is grounded in gender-based stereotypes, a likely result of enforcing institutional benevolent sexism. This is where gender-neutral dress codes come into play. By neutralizing gender binary dress codes and creating a singular dress code for all students to follow, you can protect the well-being of all students in the school. A gender-neutral dress code is not a uniform. I repeat, a gender-neutral dress code is not a uniform. It can be as simple as a plan that says all bodies must be covered from their fingertips to upper chest, with shoulder straps no smaller than 2 fingers wide. By eliminating the social constructs of gender, you create a safe learning space for anyone, no matter how they identify. And the few select schools who have adopted these types of dress codes report a great deal of fewer discipline problems, which benefits the students first, because more time is spent learning and teaching, and administrators second, because they have more time to focus on the pressing issues at hand. Many of you may have heard about the nationwide retail store, Target, removing any gender labels from their toys, after acknowledging that kids should be encouraged to play with any toy that they want to, instead of their individuality being discouraged by the strict separation of blue and pink aisles. This is a step in the right direction that shows the progress towards a more equal future where variable social standards about gender stereotypes are becoming a thing of the past. A gender-neutral dress code provides for a more equal future. A gender-neutral dress code does not base the rules on which students are to dress on the fragile ideas of gender, but on the sole idea of covering one's body.